Hi guys, today I want to talk about weight loss and my own perspective, my own journey with that, and how I finally was able to, or I'm able to start reaching the goals that I had for myself for many years. So we all have different perspective, different opinions, different everything on based around weight loss, our bodies, and dieting, eating, all of that. It's a huge, complex topic. Just from my perspective, though, I always, for many years, I saw myself as fat. I guess, even though I now looking back, like I was not. I simply saw myself that way. And I had this mentality of I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to lose weight, I want to, get that hourglass shape, all these things that I was blindly trying to work towards. And it was really difficult. I tried for years. I would get books and then I would read, oh, do these exercises, and I'd start for like 1 to 2 days and then I'd stop, and then I joined the gym. And I did go to the gym, for a few months at a time, and I ran. 2 years ago, I started just running, doing cardio, and I never saw any real difference. No matter what I did, my body sort of stayed the same. And again, it wasn't that I had a bad body, it was just the fact that I saw no improvement, so I would always get discouraged. And eventually, even though I would start, every time I would give up because I'd be like, there's nothing going on, so I'm just gonna stop. This is not working out for me. And so I did, until very recently. However, the reason why I'm even discussing this topic is because I no longer had that intention. I no longer had that goal of I need to lose weight, I'm gonna work towards it. No. What happened instead is that my lifestyle changed, and unintentionally I lost weight. I mean, like, obviously, if you think about it, it's obvious, but when I first started my lifestyle change, I didn't think about the future benefits, and now it's like, wow, this is what I could have done years ago. If I had listened to someone, I could have done this years ago, and I would have been at the ideal body or whatever. And so this is just to help for anybody who's struggling, for anybody who doesn't see any changes, and it's like, what do I do? Because I've been there, and you just give up. And even when you start seeing little changes, it's like not enough. So my lifestyle changed. In June of this year, which was about 5 months ago, I got sick. And with that sickness, I was, I had to, what is it called? Bed rest. And so instead of using this bed rest to binge watch Netflix or just sleep, which maybe I should have, I started researching, and learning about the human body and about the food that we consume on a very regular basis. I mean, literally the things that we cook, the things that we buy as takeout, all the food. And I started really delving deep into food. Again, I no longer had the intention of losing weight, but when I saw all the chemicals, all the bad negative stuff for our bodies within the food that we normally eat, I was like, wait a minute, something clicked. And it wasn't any longer about me losing weight, me being a vegetarian, being a vegan, none of that. It was about actually caring for my own body, regardless of how it looked, regardless of who I am, but caring for my physical body. And ever since then, I'm not perfect, oh god, I'm far from it, but ever since then, I took a step and started taking baby steps towards actually eating consciously. So that means, honestly, now, like, look, this yogurt, I just ate it. Like, every time I pick a food, I look at the actual content, and I know, like, that, again, that goes with dieting, and that can be toxic, I will agree. But it's just, for me, it's a matter of eating consciously. So not every, again, I'm not perfect, but for the most part, I pick foods that are going to benefit my body. I normally don't eat a lot. I'm a very small person. I generally have never needed a lot to fill myself. And so I don't eat a lot, but when I do, I choose things that are high in nutrients, basically. For example, this little yogurt has 7 grams of protein. um that's, I think, the thing that I looked at the most. Yeah, calcium, 260 milligrams of calcium, potassium. So this little thing that only costs like $3, well, we'll go back to the economics of it, but this little thing already gave me more nutrients than a Subway sandwich. Like, let's be real. That's just one example. But it's about those little daily habits, and the little thing that clicks in your mind about just being healthy for your own body. And with these little habits, once they start accumulating, you will start to see results. That's on the eating front. And then on the working out front, I started going to the gym again for, like, I don't know, whatever time. But again, it was not with any particular goals other than I know moving and exercising is healthy for the body. So what I started doing is I walked a mile on the treadmill every time I showed up to the gym. No matter what else I did or did not do, the one thing that was constant is 1 mile on that treadmill. So I started doing that. That, as well as lunges, because they were recommended to me by a doctor. So those were the two things that I knew if I just walked in there, they were going to benefit my body, regardless of what it did for my looks or anything. So, and this is all leading somewhere, obviously. So I started off with that mile, and I started feeling sore, and once I did it for like maybe a month, I was like, wait, let me look it up. Is walking a mile, and I also do it uphill, is this even beneficial? So I looked it up, and it was like, no, this is good for your body. So I was like, okay, let's keep going. And just the fact that I just show up and do that little thing, once you're in the gym, I don't know if you heard this before, but once you're in the gym, it's like automatically easier to work out, to do something else, because the hardest part is just getting in there, just beating that I don't want to go, I don't feel like going, and just getting in there. So slowly I started lifting weights. And again, it wasn't, before I would like overthink and be like, okay, I need to do this and this set and this many reps and this and this and this, and like it would just be tiring, and it never worked. And so now I started going and lifting weights to actually be stronger. Nothing else, none of the aesthetics, but just to be stronger. I'm like, I need to, like, I'm very little, so I have oftentimes felt really weak physically. And so I started lifting weights. And I kid you not, like, it's only been at the most 2 months at the most that I have been going to the gym. But my body, like, it's not even like dramatic. It doesn't have to be dramatic, because to me it's already more than enough. Like, now I look at my body, and now with all these little changes, with the eating properly, or not even properly, eating more consciously for my own body, with actually just simply showing up to the gym and doing as little as possible, I've already seen results in only, like, okay, let's say 5 months, compared to years that I tried so hard and I could not achieve anything. And now I lost weight. Like, I actually went to the doctor, and he even asked, have you been consciously trying to lose weight? And I said, no, I just changed my lifestyle. I just changed what I eat. And it's not even about a whole label of vegetarian or vegan. It's really about nutrients and understanding the effects of food in our body, in our brains, in our mentality. Because if you eat sugary foods, if you eat fast food, if you eat all of these things, obviously you're gonna feel some type of way. Obviously your body is not gonna have as much energy as if you fed it better things. And going back to the economics now, this can in fact be difficult, I will admit, because the high protein foods, they tend to be, one, more expensive, and oftentimes they are not accessible to your average citizens or people who simply cannot afford it. They're just not accessible. They're not in the stores. And so it can be difficult, I will admit. But something that helped me look at it differently was, I forgot who said it, or I don't know their name, but it was like, okay, you spend a certain amount of money doing your nails, doing your hair, spending it on makeup, you spend it on Netflix, you spend it on all these things. Why don't you take that money and invest it in yourself in the form of food? Okay, yes, it's going to be more expensive, because sometimes it is, and that's part of this whole cycle in the system. But if you consciously start to say, okay, I'm going to choose a fruit, an apple, a banana instead of chips. A banana or chips is going to be about the same price. If you really make that choice for you, for yourself, it's not as difficult as like, okay, I'm only going to eat clean now. No, it doesn't happen that way. Like, I still, I go to my parents' house, or I go out to eat, and the foods are just not going to be exactly what I'm looking for. Or if I were to make them myself, I were to pick them myself. So, it's always like, it's not going to be perfect. But it's like these little habits that ultimately actually affect, and if they are positive habits, they will have that positive effect on you that I had been trying to reach for a long time, and I could never get there because my habits were not it. I mean, they would tell me to eat better, and I was like, what does that even mean? And I would give up. Especially too, because I lived with my parents, so I would have to eat whatever they fed me. But even after I moved out, it was just this whole thing where my whole world was chaotic. And I mean, it still is, but just these little things that I can change, that I can control, or that I can consciously do, have already affected me tremendously. And so I guess that's the overall message. It's like, our little habits will accumulate and create a better version of ourselves if we continue to pick, we're giving, like I said, the apple or the bag of chips. It's that simple sometimes. And oftentimes, like, again, me too, like, I still buy hot Cheetos sometimes, and it's hard, and it's like, oh, well, like, I could have chosen something else, but at the same time, when I buy hot Cheetos and I get a pimple, or, something, I feel bloated, it's like, well, whose fault was that? My own. I have to take accountability for my choices. And let me just say one last thing too. Just like I mentioned that I would overcomplicate the gym, I would go in with like these many sets, these many reps, everything. It's not that complicated. I don't go to the gym like 5 days a week, not even 3 days a week sometimes. I go to the gym when my body feels physically capable of it. If I'm too tired, I'm just not going to go, because what am I doing to my body? I started this not to look a certain way, but to actually have my body work for me. And so I'm nurturing it. So if I'm too tired, I'm not gonna go. If I'm still recovering because they're sore, I'm not gonna go. And I usually go like 2 or 3 times a week at the most, I would say. But even then, those 2-3 times a week have already shown me results. And it's true what they say. Once you start seeing these results, it's like a positive loop. It's like a positive loop, feedback loop. Because it's like, obviously, I'm going to want to keep, now I'm even making this video. I want to keep eating better. I want to keep going to the gym, even if it's just for a walk, even if it's just for something little. Because I got to a place now where I wanted to get to for so many years. And so I'm only going to keep improving from here. And that's it for my video. I think it was just a lot of or how my habits impacted me in regards to my body, in regards to to a goal that many of us have, because I had that goal. I wanted to lose weight, and again, for whatever reason, you may want to too, but that's what it took for me. It was these little habits, and these little habits led to a complete lifestyle change that it just wouldn't make sense for me to be the same way. It doesn't make sense, because at least for my food wise and exercise activity wise, is just different, that it just shows up automatically without you thinking, I want to lose weight. That's it. I hope you all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you all in my next video.